fantastic. Just be honest.
Okay, so number 3 here, we have Changing Champ Pool. Now, this is probably the one that most people go towards. When they're in a rut, the first thing is champions will roll the champion. So, I think this is going to be interesting to hear your thoughts on this about the whole champion thing. Obviously, we've done a whole episode about champion pools and champions and OTP over the last couple of weeks. First things first, I'll go back to that first one saying, are you actually playing with high intensity? You might be playing, again, at like 20% of what you're at. You are actually capable with your champion. You could do it, you're just in emotions. You could go, up to 80, 90%, and that could actually reinvigorate, get better results with the champion. You could maybe start, climbing. I think that's the first thing. So, you shouldn't be thinking instantly to switch champion, which is a lot of people default to. It's a champion problem. Am I playing in high intensity? The second one is get inspired with your champion. Go watch. Go type in on YouTube, Challenger X Champion. Look at how they're playing fights. Just look at specifically fights. See what the champion's potentially capable of. And type in Korean Challenge or whatever it is. A big one for me was, especially looking at, like, let's say a lot of people say, you can find one trick for a champion in Challenger. There's so many champions, OTPs in Challenger. That means it's possible. Yeah. So if you're sitting there, blaming champions, a champion problem, ask the question, how is that guy challenging with my champion? I think I remember I was like in a rut with my Rek'Sai, or Charles or Curtis or something were saying that. I said, I literally cannot get high. I think it's impossible with this champion. I'm capped at like low GM or whatever. It's like 400 LP. And you guys were saying in Korea, there's like a guy who's 1,000 LP. It's like, okay, that sort of just opens up my mind a bit. It's like, okay, let's lock in. Let's figure this out. Maybe, sure, it's difficult. Maybe Rek'Sai's not in a good spot in that moment. But yeah, that helps me a lot. Thinking, okay, let's get really granular with... And I didn't even actually really look at his gameplay. I didn't really learn anything from his gameplay at all. It just unlocked something and forced me to go back to that high intensity and play better with, Rek'Sai. And I was capable of it. I was just using excuses and just lying to myself with my level of play and my skirmishing and fighting.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, I think... changing your champion pool, it's an awkward one because...
When you're in a rut.
Because it has positives and negatives. So I think, there's a short-term... I like sometimes doing a short-term break.
A vacation.
You might be like, you know what, I've been grinding the champion for the past few months. I just need to get the hell off the champion for a little bit. And I want to take a week off. And you can do that. Sometimes even just a week off of not playing that. Don't touch it. Play other champions in your pool. Take a break. That can give you perspective, right? But I do think, straight up changing your champ pool just because you're in a rut is something that I would only encourage for someone that has, again, complete understanding of their situation. Because if you just rush to that conclusion, I'm in a rut, I'm losing a bunch of games, I'm plateaued, let's champ swap. Well, then you're kind of instilling that habit of when shit gets tough, instead of getting into the details and trying to figure out what's going wrong.
And as you said, going back to how am I winning and losing games with this champion?
Exactly. You're not pushing, you're not entering the right mindset. The mindset needs to be, how do I push my limits with this champion? What's capable, what's the next level, right? But if you've exhausted that option, or you're just mentally just not capable of...
You don't even want to go down that route.
You don't even want to go down that route. That's when, maybe champ pool cycling or changing your champ pool really comes into play. And that's where it ties back to that question from Eric, is like, he keeps champ swapping. And I'm like, well, is this... You're not really addressing the root problem here.
Yeah, the frequency of the champ swaps is a big indicator. If it's like... if people ask me, should I swap champs if I'm having trouble? It's like, when did you last swap champs? It's like, how many times have you done that in the last year? How many champs have you gone through? If they say, I've been through 10 champs as well, that's probably quite concerning. But if it's like, I've swapped champions once, like, okay, cool. Well, you played 150 games of MF now? Yeah, go ahead, man. Feel free. That's a healthy cycle. But if you're cycling every week, then that's just when it looks like the grass is greener, but it's just not.
Yeah, and then exactly right. Because you're going to be faced with many, many, many challenges in your journey. And there's a very big difference between kind of being genuinely just plateaued because you're level of play, but also like you're just not having fun.
Yeah.
And we always say, like, if you're not having fun with that champion, like you're genuinely not having fun. You're literally dreading loading onto the roof of that champion. You need to get the hell off that champion and move on. Right? Yeah. It's not conducive to learning.
I think it could also go in the opposite way. I always reference my 36% win rate with Varus. Like, I brute forced that thing. I have like 40 games of that, and I kept going. I shouldn't have done it. Like, I should have stopped at like the 20 game mark. It just wasn't working, but I just kept going, and that was. I don't think I was really in a rut about that. But it can also like for other people that could create a rut. You know, just slamming your head against the wall doing the same
exactly
thing. Like, why is it this way? Why is it, I'm just like 4 games will fix it. But sometimes things just don't.
Sometimes you gotta pack it in.
Sometimes you just got to be a bit intuitive about it as well. I don't even really like want to dig super into why. It's like there's more champs in the game. There's so many to choose from. Like I just move the hell on, you know.
Curtis, you wrote down here, why is this champion your team?
Yeah,
Question.
this is so important. You know, Charlie, you talk about this as well. Like, the whole point of a champ pool, I think a lot of people forget, is to have diversity, right? You're trying to cover many bases in draft for the most part, right?
Yes.
Or maybe learn differing skills. But if you can't answer that question, why is every champion in your pool? What role does it fit? Chances are that, you know, your pool doesn't make sense.
You're spreading yourself too thin. And this is like the biggest misconception is what people say is they have like a champion and then they have a backup and then they have another backup. I hate the word backup in champion pools. Like don't have a backup. Just pick something else that you're going to play in games when it's good. You know, that's it. So instead of having 3 control mages, have a skirmisher, a control mage, and then maybe something else. Like if you're 80 carry, don't have 3 hyper carries. You know, there's no point. There's no strategic diversity there. So not only are you missing opportunities to complement your team in draft, especially with like what your champions the enemy team pick and what you pick, but also you're limiting